us tonight are on the broad road that leads to destruction. And tonight, I would say with Moses, I would say with Joshua, turn, repent, choose God, serve Him, live for Him. That is the message of God tonight to this great audience of people at Yankee Stadium.
I see revival coming to planet Earth, maybe as never before. It would be untold numbers, and untold, uncounted multitudes that will be saved. The dead will be raised. The arthritic will be healed. Cancer will be healed. No disease would be able to stand before God's people, and that it would be a worldwide situation.
There's a church that doesn't just know about God, they know God. They don't just believe in His power, they carry His power. God will shake the United States of America one last time, not by might, not by power, but by my Spirit.
Welcome to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, as Adalis and I are here to announce our next big move, biggest move we've ever made for Revival Today. Behind me is a building that will look nothing like it looks right now when we finish. We're on just under 5 acres of property that we've just finished purchasing, which is going to give us the ability to have a state-of-the-art studio. And in that studio, something I've wanted to have for a long time, which is a live studio audience. It's going to be a 500-seat building when we finish with it that'll give us the ability to touch the world with our broadcasts. This facility is going to give me the ability to do what I've really missed, which is having you in the audience to minister to personally. Obviously, you can't beat the reach of digital media. We touch the whole world every day. But we have the ability now with this to lay hands on people, pray for people that are sick, a place where you can bring people that are drug addicted, demonized, and really give them the ministry that you can't get on YouTube and Facebook. I can't wait. And then beyond that, we're going to announce the launch of Revival Today Church. We're going to hold Holy Ghost church services every Sunday morning. I'll be there most Sunday mornings. This isn't going to be like some little side project. We're going to give you and your family a place you can go that's a soul-winning church that values the presence of God, where you can get prayed for and ministered to, where there's not a critical race theory lecture or a mass and social distancing 10 minutes of no talking to anybody in the lobby. None of that. We're going to have a place where you're free and where you're free to experience the presence of God.
I'm incredibly excited because I know a lot of you have been asking about different meetings and events that we couldn't have during COVID, and trust me, we tried so hard. So this really frees us up to do everything that we want to do with healing meetings and women's conferences. So I am so looking forward to seeing you and having you be a part of this.
So I want to give you a twofold call to action. Number one, if your church turned in to a liberal nightmare in 2020 and you need a place to go, I would be happy to have you at our church. Number two, if you are a partner or a friend of our ministry, Revival Today, this is the biggest move by far we've ever made. By the time we finish remodeling that building, the acquiring of the property, you're looking at a couple of M's. So if you would stand with us now, I'll say thank you ahead of time. Pray and ask the Holy Ghost what He would have you to do. You've been so generous, and I thank you ahead of time for your extreme generosity. I know I speak on behalf of my wife, everybody here at Revival Today, when I say we love you very much. And now I can say I look forward to seeing you face to face here at the new home of Revival Today.
Hey. Good morning. Markets are already open. We're 40 seconds behind schedule.
It's all right, though.
That is all right. Because they're going down anyways.
Yeah, what's going on?
Well, Dow Jones down 400 points, 1.2%. The NASDAQ down more than 0.5%. S&P down almost 1%. Russell down 1%. It's the Fed. I don't think that fundamentals and things like that matter anymore in the market. It's just what the Fed says.
Okay.
Which is kind of crazy because that's not how you should do it. So, yeah, but we got good news too.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
Means that everything's going to be cheaper to buy more stock.
Awesome. Look at that. Opportunity.
That's right. Good morning, everybody. Linda, Angela, Lyric, Karina.
Wait a minute. What's up
Stock
with your
market
title?
samurai.
I feel like we have a love-hate relationship with crypto lately. What's going on?
This is more of like getting people's blood pressure up to watch the show.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
For people that love crypto?
Yes.
So you're
Maybe
calling...
I'm not a criminal.
Exactly. I was going to say, you're going to call most of us criminals at
Yes.
this point. Okay, perfect.
I own crypto, just so everybody knows.
Indeed, I do too.
But I am not a criminal. And if you want to do a background,
Don't.
background check or whatever, you'll see that I'm not a criminal.
So I'm so interested. All right. Good morning, Lyric and Maria, Linda, Freddie, Nicholas, Angela. Where's everyone watching from today? It is Friday.
It is.
Woo, woo. What are you doing this weekend? Anything fun?
I'm going golfing this afternoon.
Good for you. Is that why you're...
Yes, that's why I'm
Look at the
underdressed
ensemble.
today.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'm wearing Crocs, so I shouldn't say anything. All right, let's get started. Share the broadcast if you haven't already.
Yes, with
Right.
everybody.
Everyone.
Let's see. Oh, there we go. This is where we ended yesterday.
Yes, this is a long read, but is this why you're calling us criminals?
That I found a couple other articles that go along with,
With this, the idea of Tether?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Bitcoin,
Okay. Bitcoin being a
like
complete-
a criminal enterprise, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
So-
Only criminals use Bitcoin, is what they're saying. It's a Wall Street Journal article. So
Come on, really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I guess thus far.
it was like 40-something% of all transactions with Bitcoin were used for illicit activities, apparently.
Come
That's
on.
what they're saying, somewhere around there. Pull up the article, the one Wall Street Journal. It's the one with the orange Bitcoin outlined guy.
Oh,
Why
Lord.
crime
Okay.
could kill crypto.
All right. I mean, there's a lot of things that are literally aiming at crypto at this point, crime
Yeah.
being one of them. And then, of course, Tether, which we're going to get into in a little bit. But go ahead.
Cryptocurrencies helped enable a cybercrime wave, placing them in the crosshairs of regulators. Let's see the article. Over the past several years, the crypto markets have grown significantly. Most of the world has attributed this rise in price as a consequence of excessive money printing.
Steph is fed up. She's like, you know what? Too stuck.
Move it along.
Oh,
this is the start? Okay.
Gotcha.
The strongest argument against cryptocurrencies used to be that they had yet to show they were much good for anything. Now the strongest argument against them may be that they've become far too good at one thing, enabling crime. Not long after the first of the private digital currencies, Bitcoin, launched in 2009, crooks recognized its appeal. While law enforcement is proving increasingly adept at tracking Bitcoin transactions and at times seizing ill-gotten money. The ability to make digital payments without financial intermediaries has facilitated activities such as the selling of illegal goods and services online and money laundering. In a 2019 paper, researchers Sean Foley, Jonathan Carlson, and Talis Putnins estimated that 46% of Bitcoin transactions conducted between January 2009 and April 2017 were for illegal activity.
Wow.
Next. Speculative trading has taken up Colonial... an attack last month on Colonial Pipeline shut down the critical East Coast gasoline pipeline. Another on JBS halted operations earlier this month at some of the largest meat plants in the U.S. More than just money is at stake. When organizations such as hospitals are attacked, lives can be on the line. In a recent interview with the Wall Street Journal, Federal Bureau of Investigation Director Christopher Wray compared the difficulties posed by the recent spate of ransomware with the challenge posed by the September 11th, 2001 terrorist attacks. Okay. It's a little bit of a stretch, I think.
Yeah.
Average ransomware payment by quarter. So we're looking at 175,000 quarter 2 of 20. And then the first quarter of this year, we've already had over 200,000. That's the average ransomware payment. Keep going. One problem for law enforcement is that when the cybercriminals behind them can be identified, thefts that once would have required exchanges of bags of money or suitcases of gold to pull off can now happen entirely in countries where the U.S. has no extradition treaty. The FBI was able to seize a portion of cryptocurrency that Colonial Pipeline paid to ransomware gang DarkSide, but because the gang is believed to operate in Russia, its members might be beyond reach. Another is that there's no easy way to beef up digital security to the point that hackers can simply be kept out of data vaults. The information protection systems we rely upon are too complex and too pock-marked with vulnerabilities for that. Making it harder for cybercriminals to receive cryptocurrency payments and thereby reducing the financial incentives for ransomware attacks might help. Here, Mr. Ray's comparison with September 11th is telling. Following the attacks, the 2001 Patriot Act introduced an array of tougher provisions to the 1970 Bank Secrecy Act aimed at disrupting the financing of terror networks. A blunt way to stem the problem would be to widely ban... That is why he's comparing it to it. That makes sense. A blunt way to stem the problem would be to widely ban payment or trading in cryptocurrencies, as authorities in China have sought to do. But given the now substantial financial risk stakes in them, cryptocurrencies have a combined value of $1.6 trillion, according to CoinMarketCap. It is hard to imagine there being the U.S. political will to do that, at least not as a first step. So according to Mr. Ray, if you have cryptocurrency, you're a criminal.
It's kind of hogwashish.
It is.
I feel like this is just kind of like these pro-US dollar kind of folks that are just like not with the times at this point. Because, I mean, it's pretty fairly easy to track where the money goes.
And they'll figure something else out.
The reality is nobody's tracking it because it's not a federally backed, whatever. Nobody has any interest in doing that. But you, through blockchain and stuff, you can absolutely... I mean, look at how they figured out where the money went to. The FBI sorted it out somehow. So, not quite sure I agree with this. We're not criminals, Patrick.
No. And they used to, have bank accounts in Switzerland and all these places where they had Bank Secrecy Act. Now with the Patriot Act and all that, they don't have it anymore. They're going to figure out something new. They figured out cryptocurrencies. Sure. They're going to think of something new.
100%.
Yeah, so.
For sure. Next. I always knew I had a dark side. Everyone's like, we're in the dark market. We're in the black market. All right. Miami's mayor looks to woo Chinese Bitcoin miners with low energy prices and clean nuclear power. All right. Miami making moves.
I always liked Miami.
Miami. You always liked Miami. Which is the reason why all of this, by the way. Miami Vice. What's going on? Boom. All right, let's read it. Miami. Mayor Francis Suarez says Miami's doors are open to Bitcoin miners in China who are currently scrambling to find new homes after Beijing made it clear that their days are numbered. Mining is an energy-intensive process which both creates new coins and updates the digital ledger of all transactions of existing tokens. More than half of all miners are currently based in China, but a mass exodus is already underway. Where they're going, however, isn't yet clear. China's a mess right now, by the way.
It is.
They just apprehended the Apple news, whatever, executive director.
Oh, in Hong Kong?
In Hong Kong.
Yeah.
And then they also jailed the printer, the guy that actually prints the
newspapers.
The newspapers. I mean, they are a mess.
They are.
All right, let's continue. Continue. While Suarez told CNBC he hasn't personally received any calls from Chinese miners, the mayor is looking to patriate this mining diaspora by promoting the city's essentially unlimited supply of cheap nuclear energy. We want to make sure that our city has an opportunity to compete, he said. We're talking a lot of companies and just telling them, hey, we want you to be here, he said. Continue. Bitcoin miners are location agnostic. So dumb. All they need is a rig and a good internet connection. What varies place to place, however, is the cost of energy. And ultimately, what miners care about the most is finding the cheapest source of power out there to drive up their profit margins. That's why Mayor Suarez, one of the most crypto-friendly politicians in the United States, is making a big promise on the cost of doing business in Miami. Suarez has been a crypto believer for years, but he took the plunge into investing in Bitcoin and Ethereum once he saw the federal government pass a $1.9 trillion American rescue plan because he, quote, realized that was inevitable and already happening is inflation.
I guarantee you that first line there, Bitcoin miners are location agnostic. Whoever wrote this article did the synonyms search. I don't like this song. Agnostic, there we go.
For sure. That is so funny. Next. He emphasized the city's reliance on nuclear power, which is the purest form, the cleanest and most inexpensive. So I have no idea why we're turning our back on nuclear power. But anyways, the fact that we have nuclear power means that it's very inexpensive power, Suarez told at CNBC in an interview from the second floor of conference room, because that's important. Less than an hour of the city's... You know what? Next. Next. Oh, thank you. God bless you. God bless you.
Old car makers are the hot new trade. All the electric vehicle ones are going down.
Well, these ones
on the old ones are going up.
There's nothing like a classic car.
There isn't.
There just isn't. This morning I drove past one and I thought to myself, good Lord, you are good looking. What's cooking good looking? Let's read it.
Old car makers are the hot new trade. Morning brief. Friday, June 18th, 2020.
5 a.m. The article first appeared in the morning brief. Get the morning brief sent directly to the inbox every Monday to Friday, 6:30 a.m. Eastern time. Subscribe. Friday, June 9th. All right, let's go.
The past is outperforming the future this year. We're less than a week out from the halfway point of 2021. And one of the big real economy stories this year has been the explosion in demand for cars that has pushed up prices, particularly for used cars. And while most used cars and those on the road today are running on internal combustion engines, the industry agrees that electric vehicles are the future. For the last decade, the best way to play that trend has been via Tesla. Shareholders in that particular trade have been rewarded handsomely. Since June 2011, the carmaker's shares are up over 10,000%. This year, however, investors have been betting that the industry's old guard can make their businesses work better in an electrified future. Through Thursday's close, shares of Ford and General Motors were both up more than 40%, outpacing both the broader market and all of the market's buzziest names in the EV space.
Did you hear about Tesla? How they're doing Boring, the company?
The company,
Just like
Boring Company.
Underground, basically, like nonsense. But they came out, I think it was either this morning or yesterday, that, the size of the underground tunnels were supposed to be only 12 feet wide.
Yeah.
And they're actually going to be 21 feet wide. So apparently that was a big buzz in the Tesla.
So they can fit 2 cars.
Must be. Okay, continue.
Boring company. He comes
Boring.
up with the greatest names.
He really
though.
does. He really does.
Ford and GM have been leading auto stocks in 2021 as investors bet they can benefit in a growing economy and see returns from big investments in electric cars. I believe GM said they want to be fully electric by 2035.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
What, do they just pick these numbers out of thin air? Like, what's
I
happening?
think they can actually do it by 2035.
Wow.
All electric, yeah. GM, that is. I don't know if Ford's going to do the same thing. But that means all pickup trucks, everything. Dodge hasn't said anything, though. Ram.
You're one administration away from that being absolutely kaput.
Yeah.
So, okay, Trump gets back in 2024, which, by the way, I was driving down Route 19, and there was a guy, I swear to goodness, I should have turned around and recorded him. He was wearing a Patriot, like the Patriots football team. Like, he looked like a Patriot, okay, with the hat and the full thing. And he had a flag that was probably 12 feet tall above him. He was on a bicycle, and the flag said Trump 2024. So anyway, like right in Upper St. Clair area, which is like pretty bizarre. But you're one administration away from getting all of that energy back on U.S. soil, and then electric energy goes kaput.
I don't think it will.
You don't think it will?
No.
But then you have fuel prices that are going to go way down.
Because
if it goes back to like a Trump administration where where the gas is $1.99.
Yeah, but I still think that electric is going to be. Those car makers are not going to stop just because of gasoline.
I don't think they're going to stop, but I don't think they're going to be dominant by 2030. I think if you have
2040 for sure.
2024, like anything can happen, and then a different administration comes in, and then it'll definitely slow down that process.
But globally, look at Norway, for example. EVs outsold normal vehicles.
Norway, they're a bunch of...
So that's the wave across that's going across Europe too.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of time before all these millennials, which now make up the largest part of the workforce in the United States, pick up on those European trends and think that's cool.
Do they make up most of the workforce?
I think they almost do make up.
I thought they were out like unemployed, just too busy collecting off of the government. I thought they want communism and stuff. But yeah, no, it's like, and then I find it really interesting that there's like such a huge trend for used cars, like especially old classic cars. So I don't know, it's just very interesting.
It is.
I personally hate electric cars, but that's just. I feel like I'm going to be that person. You know what I'm saying? That like bucks at new trends. Like, don't watch TV. It's the devil's box.
Don't drive electric cars.
It's going to be me. Like, don't drive electric cars. They can shut them off.
You must be new or something, man. We the best.
All right, continue.
At an industry conference on Thursday, Ford CEO Jim Farley said the company's second quarter earnings were likely to come in better than expected. Earlier this week, GM announced that it would increase its investment in electric vehicles to $35 billion from $27 billion through 2025. And it was only a few weeks back that Ford announced its own ambitious plans to electrify more of its fleet, unveiling an electric F-150, the best-selling internal combustion engine vehicle. While unveiling plans to invest $30 billion in electric vehicle development over the next 5 years. This year's rally in shares of GM and Ford also remind us how different this recovery has been from what we endured after the financial crisis. Okay, next.
Charles saw him too. Just like a patriot. There you go.
Huh.
Very strange. But they're starting.
Surprised he hasn't got run over by like some angry person.
Yeah, he looks pretty crazy though, so. I don't know. All right, go ahead.
Workers are quitting at historic rates, and the leap of faith trend may just be beginning. I thought this article was fairly interesting because let's see the article.
Leap of faith? What is that?
they're going into like other professions.
Other ventures.
Yeah.
They just
And I
find it
think
like
there's a new-
unsatisfying what they
Yes.
were doing.
Because of the
That's very
pandemic, I
interesting.
think there's honestly going to be a new wave of American entrepreneurs that
I
come out
would
of this.
love that. That would be so fascinating. What did you say, Rom? Yeah, I mean, because I think that's. I mean, the if anything good came out of it is it snapped people out of that 9 to 5 mentality.
Yeah.
6 days a week kind of thing, and then all of a sudden you're like, you don't get to see your kids.
Yeah.
So now you're at home all the time with your kids, and you were like, what was I missing out on? I had no idea what they were learning in school. I had no idea.
Yeah.
You miss out on so many opportunities that it really does cause you to reevaluate your career.
Yeah.
So this definitely doesn't shock me. And of course, there's such a fright to go back to work. I mean, for so many different reasons. If if you have a vaccine requirement, people aren't going to, they're just deuce out. You know what I mean? So it's almost like, this is very fascinating.
People had too much time to sit down and think about their life.
I
And
mean, to the
that's-
point
and
where they
exactly.
got either suicidal,
Yes.
or they're
like, I'm going to do, I've been
some type
thinking
of
about this
snapping
since I
point.
was, this is what I wanted to do since I was a kid. I can't believe that I let people talk me into college, and then I went to college for no reason. Like that's what this article basically says.
Wow.
And I would just want to take a leap of faith. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to do this. Start a company on the side, whatever.
That's really interesting because it was like that fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're reevaluating your life. Like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Like I could die at any point because of course everybody thought that's what was going to happen. This thing was going to ravage through the country and everybody was going to die. So you have that kind of mentality where it's like, what you live differently if you think you're going to die.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting that people are making choices, life decisions because of it. Wow. All right. Entrepreneurial boom.
Let's see it. Jamaica Blair had finally quit her teaching job in April, demoralized by the low wages, insufficient staffing, and most recently the challenges from the pandemic. She wants to be a chef, a career decision that took a long time to make. Last year, I really wanted to leave, but I guess I became complacent. I was too afraid to leave. This is the first time I actually took the leap of faith. Blair joins the 4 million workers who quit their jobs in April, a 20-year record according to the Labor Department's latest JOLTS report. The rate of workers voluntarily leaving their jobs also hit an all-time high of 2.7% that month. This could be only the beginning of a new labor trend, according to ZipRecruiter economist Julia Pollack, who suspects a wave of workers may soon give notice in the coming months. We could see sustained very high levels of quits throughout the summer at the very least. As long as the labor market remains this tight and employers are competing for workers, you'll see people learning about exciting new opportunities and making the switch. Continue. Workers are quitting for different reasons, depending on the sector and their positions, but in general, there's an uptick in workers leaving in most industries. Accommodation and food services, along with retail trade, had the largest quit rates in April of 5.6% and 4.3% respectively. Battered during the height of the pandemic, those two sectors also saw a jump in job openings in the spring. These two industries... My colleagues are telling me to leave. They're trying to tell me, like, don't end up like me. They love children too, but it's the benefits that they really need, so that keeps them stuck. So the majority of people are stuck in their jobs because of the benefits.
Yeah.
But there's more and more people that are doing this. Keep going with the article.
It's crazy that's what drives people is benefits. Literally, like, that's the last thing on my mind.
Yeah.
Because mostly then you start seeing all these old people that have benefits and they have no choice. They get,
Yeah.
moved around from nursing home to nursing home. They have no real freedom.
Yeah.
Ay.
Blair's passion lies in the kitchen. Before work at 5 a.m., she's baking, cooking, and catering cupcakes while she finishes her final 2 weeks of the school year. She plans to find a job as a chef until she starts her own small catering business. She's not alone on the entrepreneur front. After a lull at the start of the pandemic, the pace of new business applications since mid-2020 has been the highest on record. A new paper by the National Bureau of Economic Research found non-store retail and accommodation and food services are two of the dominant industries attracting new entrepreneurs. I could be in the kitchen at 3 o'clock in the morning and I won't be done till 8 o'clock, and I feel relief. I feel good about myself, Blair said. I'm actually doing something that I love. So it doesn't even bother me. It doesn't feel like a chore. It doesn't feel like work. So I thought this was very interesting because everybody's like, "Oh, America's greatest days are behind." You know, but with this new wave of entrepreneurs, if this is something that's, you know, starting in the millennials and the Gen Z, and there's a spirit of entrepreneurship that comes across the nation again, then
it becomes innovative.
Yeah.
And yeah, of course.
then there's no way China is going to become, you know, the next world power. They can't, because there's no free market.
There's a book that I'm interested in reading. It's called The Demise of China, or The Imminent Demise of China.
Yeah.
It's from some guy that was on Fox Business. So I would love to see like what his take is on this. But no, this is absolutely fascinating. Somebody said there's so many jobs I'm so qualified for, but I don't have a college degree, so I can't even apply.
Apply
I would
anyway.
Apply anyways. I got my very first job was a legal secretary, and it required a bachelor's, and I had none of that. I went to Bible school, and one interview will leave you speechless. I'm telling you, you should still apply.
Yeah.
Apply anyways.
Absolutely. I read an article the other day on this, that a lot of these companies are still putting that in there as like a requirement.
Safeguard, right.
But most of the time, if it comes down to somebody out of college who's been educated, you know, on nothing but social justice for 4 years,
That's exactly right.
or somebody who has experience, they'll take the person with experience even if they don't have a college degree.
I mean, that was the case for me, and that was many, many years ago. I mean, at least 15, 16, oh my God, it's like going to be 20 years from now? Oh my God. No, yeah. It's going to be almost 20 years. 20 years ago, and that was the case. And I remember I said, like, I don't have any of your requirements. Why did you hire me?
Yeah.
And she said, I would much rather somebody that I get along with, that I know that I can train,
Yeah.
than somebody who literally has all of the knowledge and I literally can't get along with. I can't train. They're just like hard on their ways. This is what I'm supposed to do, all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. And so she liked my flexibility. So that's why I was hired. Very strange. But just don't let that deter you.
Don't let anything that it says on that job description deter you.
You go right in there and just looking fly and confident. And let me tell you,
Grab them by the collar and
I remember I borrowed, because I was really broke, but Adalis was given these Prada shoes, a Valentino white button-up shirt, and a leather black, like below the knee, like skirt from, I can't even remember who made the skirt. It was all like, you know, very, very expensive clothes. And I told her, I was like, let me just use this for one day. I promise I'll bring it back. And I literally walked in there looking amazing, and I was just very calm, cool, and collected. And let me tell you, I walked out with a job.
yeah.
So really, honestly, like, don't let these things deter you. College sucks. And here's the thing, like, the kind of people that are coming out of these colleges are so woke
Yeah.
that it's almost like it's a nuisance
Yeah.
to employers.
Andrew just said, I'd rather take someone willing to be trained than a know-it-all. And a lot of these kids are coming out of there
too.
like, I know everything. I am enlightened because I went to
That's
college.
exactly right. That's
And I'm going to
exactly
come
right.
into your company and
I haven't
you're
worked
gonna
a
do
day
it,
in
and
my
you're going to
life.
do it my way. We're going to do social justice. We're going to do equity. We're going to do all of these things
Yeah.
that these college kids are not pushing in these companies.
I have a friend, she owns a dentistry. She said, I've been ghosted 3 different times. And I said, what's ghosted? And she was like, there's these kids who come out of medical school, like these dentists, like full blown, like whatever.
Yeah.
And 3 of them so far have literally showed up to work, and then the very next day, don't call, don't come back. Ghosted. A dentist.
Did you see the article about that tennis player, Naomi Osaka?
No.
That quit the French Open?
Yes,
Yes. That's the Gen Z mindset.
that's it.
Like, I'm just going to leave. I'm done.
Because what was her issue?
Mental health.
Mental health.
Mental
That's another
health.
one. There was another Olympic diver, swimmer,
Yeah.
who quit the Olympics because men were looking at her in a bathing suit. So you have to understand these kinds of things that they're indoctrinating these kids in college.
Yeah.
They're creating useless human beings.
Yeah.
Useless. It's like there's no resilience. There's no, I mean, it's just wild.
It is.
And no work ethic, let me tell you. I mean, talk about like...
They don't
want
teach
somebody
you how to
work?
think anymore. They teach you to think the way they think. And that's the problem, because in college you were taught to think, and
Yeah.
my best professors are the ones, they didn't even teach. They they made us teach ourselves, basically.
For sure.
And those were the best ones. That's where I always had the best grades. And the ones
100%.
where, it was like this, and this, recite, and then test.
Yeah, I think that
C's and
there's
D's.
this, because of the way you're indoctrinated there, it just, after, it's been so glorified to go to college that after you go to college, it's like, I'm going to be a CEO.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's no climbing up the ladder of success. There's no like paying your dues. There's so many people that come out of college that are like, they already expect to be fully making six-figure CEO and have no work ethic to get there.
Yeah.
And that's another huge issue with these guys that come out of these colleges. It's like, okay, you might have the degree, but you have no work ethic.
And then they figure out that it's going to take time to get there, and they just ghost.
Friggin' white, they're a little snowflake.
I'm out of here.
Yeah, no, for real. So anyway, all of that to say, Linda, don't give up. You're going to be a blessing to someone out there. All right, next. Crypto retreats as Bitcoin and Ethereum lead mild sell-off.
Let me take a look here, see if that's still the case, because that was this morning at 4:45 a.m. And yes, Bitcoin's down over 4%, so is Ethereum. XRP's down almost 3.5%. So yeah, cryptos retreat.
All right. What's causing that, I wonder?
It's Friday.
Friday.
Everybody's taking their money that they made in the market and they're
Cashing out.
spend it.
It'd be interesting if that's actually the reason.
I don't
gotta
like
put 'em
trading
in.
on Fridays.
Yeah?
I do not. Just because Fridays are always very volatile. You don't really know what's going to happen.
Interesting.
Because people don't like holding stock over the weekend. Because
Okay.
what if news comes out on this company that I'm holding
Yeah.
over the weekend that's going to tank it when it opens up on Monday?
That's very interesting. So there you have it. Fridays stink. Fridays stinketh. Next.
Lordstown clarifies that vehicle purchase agreements, we've talked about this, that vehicle purchase agreements aren't binding orders. So all of these electric vehicle companies, these new ones that say that they have vehicle purchase agreements, but they don't have vehicle purchase orders. It's not a contract. Mm-hmm. And so they say, "Oh, look at this. We have 100,000 orders for our vehicles." But it's in
not
reality,
binding. It's not a binding
it's
thing.
not binding. Nobody put a deposit down. Nobody wrote a contract. None of these companies did.
So it causes these companies to be overvalued.
Yes, and then these companies are basically, what it does is it misleads shareholders.
Oof. Brutal.
So if you don't actually look into it, you'd be like, "Oh wow, Lordstown has 10,000 orders for their vehicles," when in reality that's not the case.
Right.
Let's see the article.
How do you get to the bottom of that? So you
You just have to do
your research.
your research.
That's crazy.
Lordstown Motor Corp RIDE said in a securities filing that although it has struck vehicle purchase agreements with fleet management companies, the agreements don't represent
Binding
purchase orders.
crazy.
The clarification on Thursday comes after the troubled electric truck startup's president told reporters Tuesday the company had pretty binding pre-orders. Is it pretty bind? Look at that. That's, if you're publicly traded, don't say things like that because it misleads shareholders.
100%.
I have no trust
It's
in this
either
company.
binding or it's not.
Yeah.
Now you're fake.
This is how a leadership of a company takes down the company.
No, it's
and
true.
I will never invest in Lordstown Motors. I don't care if it goes to the moon
Facts. though.
because they mislead and they say things like that. Just be straightforward about it.
There's a great book. It's called Good to Great. And it talks about just kind of like the leadership and CEOs and what makes companies go from good to great. And let me tell you, like leadership that is very clear, precise, that doesn't beat around. This is slimy.
It is.
This kind of stuff is slimy to me. And so to me, it's just there's no way that this company is going to work. It's just it's inevitable that it's going to fail.
Pretty
with
binding
that
pre-orders.
kind of pretty
Yeah.
binding.
And enough interest from potential buyers. You have interest. You go door to door and you have interest. That's not to sustain factory output through the end of 2022. Shares were down about 1% Thursday morning. The company's stock rose after its president's comments and closed Tuesday having gained 11.3%. The Ohio-based company said in its filing that building relationships with specialized trucking and fleet management companies to incorporate its debut model, the Endurance, into their programs is an essential sales and marketing strategy. They do not commit the counterparties to purchase vehicles, but we believe that they provide us with a significant indicator of demand for the Endurance, Lordstown Motors said of the vehicle purchase agreements. Just sell the company at this point.
No kidding. Or step down as the president
Continue.
and allow
Yeah.
somebody else to take it to the next level.
Somebody who's going to say, yeah, we don't have the purchase agreements right now,
You
but
have
we're
to
working.
have,
Just say we're working on it.
100 The candor is number one when it
Yes.
comes to leadership. If you don't have candor, you have nothing. Because here's the thing: I would rather jump on the leadership of somebody who's like, I don't have all the answers yet, but I'm going to tell you right now, like, I believe in my product. This is what the strategy plan. No, they're not binding. I mean, wouldn't you much rather that than all of this kind of gray crap?
Yeah.
He needs to step down.
He needs to. Absolutely. This is why you always have to look at the leadership of a company if you want to invest in something long term, and make sure that
Yeah, that's huge.
they're not like that.
Yeah.
That they say what they mean, or they say very little, and then when they do say something, that's why with Elon Musk it might not be a good idea to invest in Tesla.
No, it's true. It's true. He's a little all over the place.
He is.
Really is.
He is. But he is Iron Man, so we're gonna overlook
It's
it.
the only thing. It's the only reason why I'm still in there. He's Iron Man.
All right, next.
It's not a tan, stronger pink. It's just bronzer. Just wanted to- had to-
Amazon's Jeff Bezos backing nuclear fusion plants. So this is the third billionaire that we now hear about backing nuclear. I honestly think that nuclear is the future.
It is.
I don't think that, wind and solar obviously is going to play a role, I believe. But nuclear is the future. And I've been doing a lot of research on this. I actually listened to a podcast not too long ago on this. There's a guy who does investing in uranium.
Okay.
And I'm doing more research on it before I'm going to give out, stocks on it.
Yeah.
But I believe that nuclear is the future.
It sure is.
Billionaires are getting into it.
Interesting.
I think that's what it takes to power the EV and the 5G and connected homes and all of these things that require more power.
That's right.
It's going to require nuclear. And it was Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, and now Jeff Bezos that are backing nuclear plants.
Interesting.
General Fusion has raised $300 million to date, including a $127 million investment from Bezos Expeditions and Microsoft in 2019.
Wow. That's some funny money right there.
So if they're investing in that, there's some serious money to be made. And so that is worth the research.
Oh, that's good. When is he taking off? Soon, yeah?
It's July 14th, I believe.
I gotta get myself one of those jackets. I'll order two. Scooey. All right, next.
Some commodities have now wiped out all of their 2021 rally, which shows that inflation might be slowing down? Question mark. See the article?
Yeah, I watched something on Fox Business today that the U.S. dollar was getting stronger. And of course, they had a whole bunch of, they presented their case, and I didn't understand a single thing that they were saying. I was like, what? Too many words, big words.
Some commodities have now wiped out all of their 2021 rally. Soybean futures have erased their 2021 advance, sliding more than 20% from an 8-year high reached in May, while corn and wheat have also tumbled. The Bloomberg Grain Spot Subindex slid the most since 2009 on Thursday before edging higher Friday as markets recovered some losses. Other commodities that have seen big rallies include platinum, while once surging nickel, sugar, and even lumber have faltered. The fact that some markets are falling while others, including crude oil and tin, are holding gains underscore how unevenly the complex is responding to economies reopening and expanding once again. This obviously has something to do with China releasing commodities.
Yep.
But I think that talk of what the Fed is doing is calming down markets a little bit. Except for stocks.
Mm-hmm.
Continue. Grain index falls most since 2009. Continue. Keep going. Is there a chart somewhere that shows? Oh, here we go. Soybean futures in Chicago bounced more than 2% on Friday, but are still heading for a weekly loss of about 11%. Base metals were mixed following losses on Thursday. Copper fell 0.8%. Nickel rose 0.9%. Iron ore slid 1.2%. Precious metals rebounded after substantial declines. Gold added 1.1%, while palladium rose about 3% after Thursday's 11% slump. Chinese futures caught up with the overnight rout. Rapeseed and soybean oil slid, and copper and zinc dropped. Next. We can skip that one. That's it.
All right. Let's get your picks for the day.
All right. Stocks research for today. Low risk, Visa. Visa is a payment technology company. Payment network facilitates the authorization, clearing, and settlement of payment transactions. It enables global commerce through its payment network. Has had solid revenue growth over the past 5 years. Small dividend. Price to book is cheaper than the industry average. Price to earnings ratio is a little too high for me. This company is on my watch list to see if I can get a cheaper entry point, but it is a low risk one that I'm looking into. Visa is continuing to innovate into the fintech and cryptocurrency segments with investments, and so I think that that's going to be a good company to watch out for.
Awesome.
It's a little too expensive right now, but
What's it at?
$280 some.
Mamacita.
Take a look at Visa. $230. I'm sorry, $230. Medium risk. VB, Vanguard Small Cap Index Fund, seeks to track the CRSP US Small Cap Index, a broadly diversified index of small cap US stocks, which means smaller valuation. It is still a little expensive, but it's one of those index funds that'd be good to have in your portfolio. They have a 5-star Morningstar rating, an average of 10% return since inception in 2004. It is a little risky because it's small cap companies and they usually get hit the hardest if there's a downturn. If it's too expensive, just wait a little bit. Stock market is still going down, so we'll see what it does next week. All right. And the high risk, CLNE, Clean Energy Fuels Corp. Most talked about stock on Wall Street Bets.
Oh, brother. This could be...
Let's see where they're at. And they're up 9%.
Nice.
I said something earlier. It's around 12% right, $12 right now. They are talking about getting it up to $15 before they take their winnings. The company is focused on the procurement and distribution of renewable natural gas. It operates and owns dairy and waste renewable natural gas projects, sells environmental credits that it generates by selling renewable natural gas. It has fairly bad fundamentals, but I am going to continue to keep an eye on it. It's on my watch list. I'm going to actually look into this company because what's a selling point to me is the environmental credit aspect of the company. Because if they can sell carbon credits, then that's a whole nother business all in itself, because that is picking up steam, especially in Canada and Europe. And so we'll see what happens there. I did look at Pembina Pipeline. That was one that was mentioned yesterday. Company has solid revenue growth, fantastic dividend yield at over 6%. It's addressing environmental concerns, more assets than liabilities. It's a little low on cash. I'm going to continue to look at it, but I think that this company might actually be a solid buy. So to whoever suggested that company, I think that if you do own it, that's a good company.
Awesome. And
then Luokung Technology Corp, LKCO. Company is a developer and provider of mobile enterprise solutions based in China and has just had its Chinese military company designation removed. It just got a contract today for a new generation of traffic control network, but they haven't given any details on it. It's trading under $2. So I think it might be, a buy just because it's cheap. And if their technology is as great as as they say it is, especially with China becoming so interconnected with Skynet, all those different things, it might be worth putting $100 into it and seeing where it goes. All right. Any questions? Visa, never heard of it.
Is it a new company? Oh, he's talking about Visa. Okay.
Yeah,
great.
he's talking about Visa. I don't think Visa is going anywhere. In my wallet, the majority of cards are Visas.
Really?
Hmm. I don't think I have any MasterCards.
I don't have MasterCards either. Maybe just one.
It's all Visa. And they're the most widely accepted overseas, too.
Yeah, that's true.
In Europe, there's a lot of MasterCard, but even in Africa, it's the most widely accepted.
So that's a good one. It's a good one for you. Michael says, I told everyone last year to buy uranium.
I think he's onto something because uranium already had a spike from last year. I think I'm going to get into it.
Yeah.
Because in the long run, like that's probably a 5 to 10 year play.
Especially with these millionaires making these moves.
Yeah, they're building new reactors that are small nuclear reactors in Washington. There's companies in Washington and Oregon that are building these. And I really think that nuclear is the most efficient form of energy.
For sure.
Especially moving to, blockchain technologies, and there's going to need to be more energy generation, and I think that might be a good buy.
Yeah, Bill Gates and Warren Buffett building nuclear plant in Wyoming, says Michael. So yeah, for sure, uranium. And how do you buy that?
You can buy uranium miners, refiners.
You just have to look up, do your research.
Yeah, or just buy the energy companies like GE. What's the big one? The big Japanese one that are working together on a nuclear reactor. I want to say Hitachi. It's GE Hitachi that are working together on a nuclear reactor. So General Electric or Hitachi, because they're working together on it. So it's like almost like a joint venture. I'm gonna have to confirm that because I'm not 100% on it.
Right. I just Googled best uranium stocks. Cameco, Denison Mines, Uranium
Cameco's
Energy,
the biggest one.
UR Energy.
Cameco might actually be a little bit expensive.
Let's see what it says. And that's based out of Canada?
Yes.
Saskatchewan in the midst of a serious COVID-19 outbreak.
Bob Drain just said, I'm thinking XRP will drop to the 40 cent level. Any guesses on your end? If it does, I will be buying a ton of it. We're going to have...
what is it at now, XRP?
82.
Charles says, what stocks would you invest in if nuclear energy is the future? Also, Ripple is threatening to move their headquarters out of the United States into Singapore or United Emirates if the SEC case drags.
I don't think it'd be a bad idea for them to move their headquarters to Singapore. Or move it to Miami.
Or El Salvador. Just kidding. Top 3 uraniums.
I think that at 82 cents right now, XRP is fairly cheap. And I know that that Doug would agree with me on that.
Would he?
Yeah. Because he told me that if it drops down to $1 from where it was in May, that I should get back in.
Really? How high has it gone so far?
Almost $2.
Wow. And so they're projecting it to go to what? $13?
$6, I think, was the next, Yeah, it was $1.96 April 13th.
Wow, that's pretty good. All right, 40 cents, funny high. All right, so have you partnered with Revival
Now
today?
at 80 cents.
Is it?
and dropping. We might hit 40 cents today.
Well, maybe. Anything can happen, I guess.
I'm going to run that by Doug, and I'll let you know, because he knows. I mean, he's like an expert on when it comes to XRP.
Whether it's going to go up or down, or, yeah.
Because he's looking at it all day. So.
I know. I know. They really were. I think he was talking to Abel this morning, and they were just having an argument about, where it's going. It's going up.
Yeah.
It's going down. It's crazy.
He always thinks it's going up, though.
Abel always thinks it's going down. All right. XRP to the moon. Yeah. Have you partnered with Revival today? Now is your chance to get this amazing mug. Let's take a look. Look at it. Oh, how wonderful. You can start your day off with a cup of joe and this wonderful mug.
And it's got a large handle.
It does. It's very important that you say that, because it's not for I mean, it fits all hand shapes.
Yes.
So this is your gift for your donation of any size. If you're watching on Facebook, #donate. If you're watching, or if you would like to text to give, text RT to 50155. Cash App $RT Give, Venmo RT Give. Of course, PayPal, revivaltoday.com/PayPal. We're also accepting cryptocurrencies of all kinds. You can either scan the code or go to revivaltoday.com/give. I'll show you the code in a minute. Boom. There you go. I'll give you a couple of seconds to scan that. If you don't want to do that, you can also go to revivaltoday.com/give. If you want to mail in a check, then do so at Revival Today, P.O. Box 7, Prosperity, PA 15329. Don't forget to claim your offer, revivaltoday.com/offer. If you don't like the mug, you can choose from a whole bunch of gifts that we have for you. If this is all still too complicated, just give us a call and we'd walk you through it. 412-446-2332. Any last minute
The stocks
comments?
that I would invest in for nuclear energy, I'm still researching. So I'll have a list probably within the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Because it takes me, for something like that I invest in long term, it takes me a while to go through everything.
2 weeks.
I don't want the Lordstown CEO running any of those companies.
That's great. Bob Nichols says, Doge, buy the dip. 28 cents.
Is it at 28?
Is it?
Oh, yeah, it is. 29, yeah. My goodness.
It's taking a dip, huh? Where do you get your Doge?
Robinhood.
Can't mess with the Doge. Just don't feel like it's right. But then I also have SafeMoon, so what does that say? Such a loser. Such a loser. All right. Well, everyone, thanks for watching. Sorry. Chi-Chi's not too happy about the Doge. Anything can happen, though. Maybe it'll go right back up. Who knows? We shall see. Stocks, picks, Ripple, Kraken, uphold them if you can. All right, there you have it. Michael Gurr, thanks for your input. And that is all for today's show, ladies and gents. Make sure you tune in at 11 a.m. for our daily broadcast with Evangelist Jonathan or Adalis. Then followed by a live broadcast with Maddie Ortiz. And then, of course, we end the night with Check the News at 11 p.m. So thanks for watching, and we will see you here. Monday's markets open?
Yes.
Okay, on Monday.
We'll see you Monday.
Bye.